Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. It's Steph Lee, the founder of Host Agency Reviews. Welcome to the Friday 15. If this is your first time, it's every Friday at 12 p.m. Central Time. We answer the questions that you have submitted. And you can submit them at hostagencyreviews.com/Friday15. And I hope Marilyn is on because I talked to Marilyn this morning and she was worried about coming on because she had some questions. And Marilyn, we're going to get to yours, but we're first going to start. So my co-host today is Itzel Rodriguez, the director of weddings at Modern Destination Weddings. Hi, Itzy.
Hi.
So we are here today. We're coming to you live. Those that are listening can't see this, but the background is different. And we are here in Puerto Vallarta at the Hyatt Ziva, and we are here with the Travel Allies Societies. They have a Young Leaders in Travel meeting going on right now, which is pretty fantastic. This is your first time coming, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's amazing so far.
It's kind of funny because I don't know what your experience was, but you got the agenda, but it just says like meetings. Usually, it'll tell you what the topics are. So I had no idea what to expect, but it's been really, really phenomenal. So we'll put in the comments in the show notes a link to the Travel Allies website, and that's the big umbrella brand. And then underneath it is the YouTube or the Young Leaders Council. So if you are a young person in travel and feel like there's not a lot of young people, there are at least 45 because I have seen them here. So
they exist.
Yeah, they are out there somewhere. But it's a really awesome group. Lots of great energy, very welcoming, lots of potential here. So what I did was I polled Itzy because she's the director of weddings, so a destination wedding specialist. And how many years have you been doing it?
7 years now.
So hardcore destination wedding person here. And we had a question come in from Tony. So our first question is, I'm interested in selling group travel, especially destination weddings. What are some tips? So I asked Itzy if she would kind of, using her experience that she's had through the years, break it down for what important things are for people going to specialize in destination weddings.
Sure, I'd love to. So the biggest thing, so I have five main things. The number one thing is definitely charge a fee. It's a lot of couples are going to be reaching out to you for free information, but really you want to spend your time on the people that really are committed to you, and just be able to provide the best service, well-rounded from A to Z. So the only way to do that is to be able to charge a fee and only work with couples that are, interested and committed and, are going to be as invested as you are going to be in the process.
What kind of fees do you charge then?
So it depends on the service. But currently we are charging, it depends, but between $500 and $1,000 to basically start the process. So, you could always start lower. We years ago we started lower, and gradually, we've increased, and it's whatever you feel comfortable with. But yeah.
So is the 500 one, it's just like what's included in their package?
Yeah, it's also like by group size and also like when the wedding is going to be, so to be completely honest, it's sometimes it changes every 6 months, as we see, because this change, the demands change. And so it's okay to, set something and then, what, let's try it out. If it's not working, it's okay.
No one wants to pay $1,000 for my fee.
Yeah. Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so what's another tip?
And then the next one would be definitely set boundaries and manage expectations from the beginning. So wedding couples, it is a very important time in their lives, as you know, and it's very important to let them know that, hey, these are my office hours. I'm available from this time to this time. Definitely manage it from the very beginning, because if you take a phone call at a random hour, at 8 o'clock on a Friday or at, 3 o'clock on a Saturday when your intention was not to be working, they're going to expect that for the rest of the year. So it's important to do it from the beginning, so that they don't feel like, well, you did it once before. I feel like, what's going on, right? So, and definitely manage expectations. It's always good to, under promise and over deliver. So if you say, okay, I'm working on this, I'll have it to you by the end of the week, by Friday, deliver it by Thursday. It's always a nice surprise to get something expected. And so it's wonderful.
Really quick question on this too now. So when you're setting the boundaries and doing these expectations, do you usually do this via a phone call, or do you have like a list you send people, or how do you make sure
pretty much
clear?
From the intro email, these are my office hours, by appointment only, and then, and just stick to that. From that. Yeah. And you can always include it and reiterate it again in writing, when they pay your fee.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. When they pay the $8,000 and keep going.
So $1 million.
It's going to be $1 million for your destination wedding.
Yes. And then the next thing would be, maybe narrow it down, focus on like maybe 5 core brands, learn them really well inside and out, the wedding aspects, the group aspects, the features, the amenities of that brand. Because I remember in the beginning, I used to say yes. I used to say yes to every resort that, if a bride would be like, hey, I come across this video or this Instagram, it looks beautiful. And I'm like, yes, we can sell it. Yes,
absolutely.
Yes to everything. And then I quickly found out that it's just a lot to try to, you're just going too many places all at once. You're not focused. And I was able to actually, the sales cycle became shorter from me, getting that lead to closing the wedding. It became shorter because we were able to just be as efficient as possible and know everything about these 5 brands and sell them well.
And it's, I would imagine too, like the relationships within the resorts, like trying to build that up would be really hard.
Yes.
So,
and that's actually goes on to my next, number 4.
Well, how coincidental.
Yes, actually cultivating relationships, with the wedding departments with kindness. That goes a long way because believe me, I've heard horror stories of, travel agents being extremely demanding and yelling at these sweet girls in the coordinate, their coordinators, and they're just trying their hardest. They're working really hard. There's no need for that. So just, talk to them, be kind, ask them about their day. How is your family? This, that, be kind. It goes a long way when maybe a year later something happens, there's an emergency with one of your groups, and immediately boom, they who to contact because she's your girl or your guy.
Yeah, that's a great tip just in general and working, whether you're in destination weddings or not.
Yes.
Like the relationships in travel are so important. And you don't want to be the bridezilla that's a travel agent. So
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then last, I would definitely say, so communication is very important. Be very specific about your requests. So, I'm all about expediting and creating processes that are just extremely efficient because time is money. So I'm not going to send a whole paragraph, a drawn out explanation with all this background story, just give me, facts. This is what I need. These are the bullet points, and send it off and just be as, just quick and short. And, the longer the email is, the more time it's going to take them, to respond. It's just be efficient with your communication. And then of course, just keep calm. That is extremely important. So sometimes couples will get a little frazzled over minute things.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah. And if they call you and they're frazzled and you can their voice is shaky and they're like starting to
hyperventilate.
Yes. And they're starting to maybe get a little loud or something. Sometimes people react in different ways when they feel that they are in a corner. But that's just, sometimes it's human nature, but you just have to be the calm presence. So you don't want to match their energy. You want to be the calm person in the conversation, to give them, that confidence that, hey, it's going to work out. Don't worry. I'm on it. I have wonderful relationships. Let me call this person. Let me escalate this to a manager, and we'll get to the bottom of this. Don't worry. Okay. I'm here for you. And that always works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like people are in a lot of people, I should say, are in such a fragile state when they're planning their weddings. You need to like be their parent and go, it's okay, and soothe them because they're like on the edge all the time.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, that's perfect. So we have some more questions coming in now. These aren't going to be Itzy's specialty, but I told her I'm going to keep her on screen with me. So she's going to be like, I know nothing about websites, but we're going to bring her in. So let's see. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to share my screen because I want to share. So Tony, if you are interested in doing groups and destination weddings, if you go to the site and go to the podcast section. So this is the Friday 15, which we just do 15 minutes and answer questions every Friday. But then quarterly, we do these more in-depth interviews with advisors on all walks of life within travel. So lots of different niches. So if you go in here and you go underneath the tags, and then if you did destination weddings, you'll see there's we've got Will Medina, we've got Jennifer Donchez in here, who actually is the one that started Travel Allies. So there's a lot of information within those, especially Will Medina's I would listen to, because he talks about the system he has. You talked, Itzy, about how it's so helpful to have a system and expectations. Mm-hmm. So that's really helpful. And then you could also go underneath the tags, groups just in general. And there's a lot of different interviews with experienced advisors in there. So let's see what else we got. All right, our next questions are coming in from, actually, before we get into it, let me, a few weeks ago, I was at ASTA's global convention, which I ended up getting COVID, so didn't actually get to go, but they just launched their new website. So if you're a member of ASTA or thinking about it, go check out asta.org, because they have a site. I think it hasn't been updated since I joined the industry like 15 years ago. So this is very exciting. When I landed on it, I was like, wow, it's so modern looking. But that brings us into our next one, which is our next question, which is from Marilyn. So Marilyn asks, should I use a website provided by the host agency or create my own website? Which type of website would have better SEO? So we have a couple of resources for you, Marilyn. Let me again share my screen. So in terms of, it's hard to answer that question because every host agency they might use a third party, or they might use, they might have one they've built in-house. So it's really tough to get specific. So this would be something you just kind of have to investigate and drill down into. But let me show you really quick on our host agency's profiles. Let's click on Departure Lounge. So underneath the company details, if you look at under technology and tools, there's a sample website kind of metadata field. And if they have a sample website for you in there, you can click on it and it will show you what their website looks like, which you'll have to trust me because I know this is only showing one of my screens. But you can go into any host agency's thing and see if they even have a website program, because that will be under their marketing programs. But in terms of SEO, and if one's better than the other, I would say if it's an older host site that they've built in-house, the SEO may not be the greatest, but there's a lot of great programs out there. And if you choose to do your own, so let me show, we have a great article on travel agency website options. Let's see, travel agency website. Okay, so if you type in travel agency website on the search bar up on the top, the first one that pops up is a complete guide to travel agency websites. So we have all this information on third parties, build your own, if you're going to use a CMS like WordPress. And then we also have like what websites use. And this is data we've pulled from some of our different reports. So here we go. Third party website, 31% of people use them. A website builder like Wix or Squarespace is next most popular with 23%. And you can see that the CMS like WordPress or Joomla, those aren't very popular with 14%. And it looks like this actually might help you make a little bit of a better decision here, Marilyn, but only 11% of people use the site provided by their host or consortia or franchise. And there's a couple other things within the site. So there's the complete travel agency guide one. There's another, if you decide to make your website from scratch, we have an article on that. And we also have one on if you use Wix. It's a really, that's a third party. Do you know what your website is built on by chance?
No clue.
Oh, thanks, Itzy. That's very helpful.
I just know it's beautiful and it works.
It is. I was checking it out, and we will put a link to it in the comments. Because if you are doing destination weddings, how many do you guys do a year again?
About 100.
Yeah. So it's a very prolific destination wedding agency, and you can check out how they're doing their mark and what's on there because they do like you had a lot of social proof I saw on the bottom with like all the reviews, great reviews from people and stuff. So make sure to check out the website. And let me see. So we have another question from Marilyn. Marilyn's our number one right now for questions. And oops, where am I? Okay. The last question is from Marilyn. Which host agencies offer coaching for new advisors? Do you have any info on this, Itzy? Any host agencies you know?
Yeah. So actually, our team, we are expanding our ICs, our
Cool.
IC program, and we actually just launched, like a training program. So yeah, we have some. His name is Mike, the one who's in charge of it. So,
okay, perfect. Well, do you have is there something on the website for it or no that we can link to?
I can give you the contact information.
Oh, cool.
Maybe? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do that.
For
So,
questions.
do you have Mike's contact information? Like, what's his email?
Yeah. So it's Mike at modern.travel.
Perfect.
Yes.
We'll put that in the show notes too if you're listening in. And then what was okay, so the other thing, Marilyn, this is going to go back to the profiles. A lot of them will offer training for new advisors. But the first thing you'll want to do is when you're on the host agency list, in order to narrow it down, go into the accepts and you'd want to put in beginner in for the filters. And that will show you people that will only be taking beginners. Now, it won't necessarily tell you if they have specific training for new advisors. And again, I'm feeling bad, Marilyn, because I'm not giving you like super specific on who does it. But when you click on their profiles, you'll be able to like they'll be taking new experienced agents or new inexperienced agents. And then in terms of training underneath where is this now? Education program. So there's an education programs metadata field, and in there it'll do IC education, if it's in person, if they do on-demand training. It doesn't tell you if it's specific for new advisors, but I'll give you a little clue here on the host agency list. So a lot of times the larger host agencies are going to have more comprehensive and detailed onboarding programs for new advisors and training. So if you go to the featured host agencies on the top, these are advertisers, but if they're taking on new advisors, they're going to have very thorough onboarding for new advisors. And like Itzy's agency, how many ICs do you guys have?
Currently, we have 5.
So they just have 5 and they have a training program. So it's not that it's only new or the large host agencies that have training programs, but you can find them with the smaller agencies too. But in order to give you a bunch of names, this is probably the easiest way for me to do it. So I think that is about, let me see where we are. Cool. Oh, we're a little bit over, but oh, you know what? I forgot to share my screen for that. So I'm going here and I'm just going to show you accepts beginner agents. So hopefully, Marilyn, that'll be helpful for you. And then you can see all the information on their profiles. We will be back next Friday at 12 p.m. Central Time. I'll be back home. We'll be away from Puerto Vallarta, which is sad because look at, if you've ever been to Puerto Vallarta, I don't know if you can see the mountains back there, but the view is just beautiful. And the oceans.
The sound of the waves.
Oh, we wanted to film it outside, except for I didn't bring my special microphone because it was too heavy, and I was worried it would the sound of the waves is so loud. You're right there.
Overpowering.
Yeah, like you wouldn't be able to hear us. So, well, Harmony, thanks for tuning in. I'm really glad you found it helpful. If anyone has any questions, make sure to submit them at hostagencyreviews.com/Friday15. Can be about any topic. If I don't know it, I find an expert like Itzy to come in and help give some details. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you. I'm so glad I met you.
I know. This is why we go to conferences, because this stuff is so fun.
Yeah, I've known you less than 48 hours and I'm just with you.
Yay. So Itzy, if someone wants to reach out to you, maybe they have questions about destination weddings,
Sure.
or what's the best way for them to reach you?
So my email is itzel, ITZEL, at ModernDestinationWeddings, which is plural.com.
Oh,
and
yeah, we'll put that in the show notes. So if anyone wants to reach out to her, we'll also put Mike's in there for the training program too. So thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend.